Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This could be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, check out the description below, and I'd be happy to assist you with doing so. Keep in mind that tarot is a tool. It is not the final rule. So let's have an empty cup when you're on Lady Noble's channel and you really want to see what's up, okay? All are welcome on this channel, and all contributions are highly appreciated. As you see, I have the beautiful divination board out, and we're going to swing the pendulum to ask spirit, ask source, one question, one answer, okay? But before we do so, we're going to do 2 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and hold for 3 seconds. So let's breathe in, release, breathe in, release. Okay, I'll give you a few moments to think of the question you would like to ask. Okay, and now we will begin. Okay, the consistency that I have collective is between the months of October, November, Sagittarius, Scorpio, between the numbers 3 and 4, Saturday, Wednesday, unknown, April, and Taurus. Once again, the consistency that I have collective is between the months of October, November, Scorpio, Sagittarius, the numbers 3 and 4, Saturday, Wednesday, unknown, Taurus, and April. So take those answers into account to whatever question that you ask. Only you know the question that you ask, collective. Okay. Now let's tap into the tarot. Hope everyone is doing wonderful and feeling great. Okay. Okay. We have an angel oracle card here, and we have the angel, Shagil. Okay, this is the angel of snow. The angel Shagil is the angel of snow. Okay, snow is winter's messenger. When a flake lands on your warm cheek, it's a chill alerts you to winter's arrival. Even in the face of sorrow, Shagil is a brave and steadfast Hadanis. Joy never retreats. Joy never retreats, collective, against winter's cold. The miracles of Shagil, a snowflake, a seed, and symbolic a pine tree. Okay? So there is an energy, and right away, Spirit is saying, though we recognize that winter or any moment, the winter represents coldness. And when we think of winter, we think about the cold, we think about the snow. Things are slowed down. Some people say that they feel that things are slowed down, meaning there's less people, maybe outdoors. Your hobbies may change, what you do to entertain yourself. Things are covered up with the snow. So a lot of people consider, the winter months to be a time of stillness. Some say stagnation. But either way, Shagil, the angel of snow here, is saying that joy does not retreat just because, the seasons have changed. So right away, Spirit is conveying that, the idea of happiness, which I always speak on in just about every read, happiness, true happiness exists within you. And you can choose, and you do have a choice, collective, each and every day that you are given additional spirit, which is the breath, and you open your eyes. You have a choice to focus on the positive things or the negative things. You have a choice of whether you're going to make the best out of your day or you're going to make the worst out of your day. So right away, This guardian angel here is saying that just because, yes, it may be depending on where you are, on the map watching this video, it may be cold, it may be snowy, but don't allow what you see outside of you and around you to affect your joy or your happiness, because true happiness and true joy is within us individually. That is something that has to be established within you individually. A good example of this is a relationship. If you tell someone you're married, the next question is, are you happily married? Well, a person can only be happily married if prior to meeting their significant other, they have worked on themselves and they are happy with themselves. And once you meet a partner, that person can add on to who you are originally, and you can expand together on your happiness. Now, this is not talking about pump faking and pretending and like life is perfect. That's not what we're speaking of. But right away, this message is being conveyed because there are people who feel that their happiness depends on what they see outside of them, or what someone else is experiencing outside of them, what they are observing. And Spirit is saying, no, 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 no. True happiness starts with you. You have a choice. Doesn't matter what your tax bracket is, doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter where you work or your upbringing. True happiness that is sustainable to your soul. That means no one can take it from you. It's like, the saying, no one can take your power away unless you give it away. No one can take your joy and your power and your happiness. And so there's a need for you to work on maintaining your frequency of joy and of happiness. Things that you do, you and your spouse do, maybe if you have children, maybe you and your family or your children do, to keep the mood and the harmony and the vibration positive, not pretending, not putting on a fake smile, but keeping the momentum of happiness and joy, which is just simply being grateful, is what I'm speaking of. Gratitude, giving gratitude, and just being grateful for even the things you consider to be little. For even, a person holding a door for you, a person saying thank you, or you saying thank you in return. Those kind of things, compliments, maybe you're always the one to do the dishes, and finally your spouse started to do the dishes. Just appreciating, the big things, the medium things, and the small things. So no one can steal your joy. No one can take your happiness away from you, collective. Okay, so that is the whole point of this message here. It's very obvious and clear. Um, with the analogy of the snow, it doesn't mean that joy has to retreat. It doesn't mean that you have to be sad. It doesn't mean that you have to be depressed. If you're someone that says, well, it's cold outside, and when it get cold outside, I get bored. Well, it's time for you to be innovative. Maybe your children are saying this, and maybe you're like, I'm tired of these children complaining. You could be a parental figure who you love the snow. It does not bother you, but maybe you hear someone around you in your household complaining. That's when it's time to be innovative and find different things to do. Okay? Open your mind, expand your mind to find different things to entertain you. Or I'm also picking up, Spirit is saying that there's also a need, or it should be a desire to learn to, just as much as you're always turned up and doing activities that are hyper or how can I say this, very overstimulating. One should also learn how to entertain themselves with different ways of relaxation, listening to music, reading a book, meditation, sitting in silence. You should also know how to enjoy, be happy and content just as well as you are with maybe going skating or going to play basketball. But there should also be some relaxation activities that you and your friends or your loved ones could do that fulfills you and makes you happy. So, and try not to put yourself, be careful. If you are someone that feels like the winter season is something that is boring to you, try not to put yourself in that stinking thinking. We know the winter solstice is here, from now to the 24th, I believe. When things are, they will feel a little slower. They'll feel like they're stagnated, but these acts of nature that are natural and that are part of the process. In order to thrive and survive and be successful while you're here on the planet Earth, one should learn, as I just said, to do activities of stillness, activities that are of peace and tranquility and relaxation. Giving yourself a manicure, a pedicure, soaking in the bath, listening to music, watching a movie, playing a board game, calling some friends over, and there's many things you could do. So there's a need to be innovative and learn some new ideas of, okay, this is about having fun. Just reading also. Learn some new ideas for you and your loved ones, okay? You want to be mindful of constantly repeating or telling or thinking, oh, it's cold outside. I don't like when it snow. When it snow, I get so sad and depressed. You want to be mindful of what you're speaking over yourself. People speak over themselves each and every day, and sometimes it's negative and sometimes it's positive, but be mindful what you speak over yourself. So we have the five of wands, and there's a need to be innovative to avoid conflict. You may have noticed some kind of hostility in your home or in your relationships or your connections, even in the workplace. Let's talk about it. Okay, maybe you feel, and you could be someone who has observed that showing up to work in the winter months is the energy and the emotions are different basis when you go to work on a daily in the spring or summer or fall. Okay, so you want to be mindful to make sure um, that you're not so idle that you become part of the conflict with the five of wands. You want to make sure that you don't mistakenly get pulled or intertwined into any mess, gossip, toxicity, turmoil, negative projection. This could be many things at work, in your home, in your family, in your connections. You want to be mindful of that, collective, okay? Because though some may feel with the star card in the upright, which means that you continue to shine bright and that it's okay, joy does not retreat. Happiness, bliss is still exists as within, so without. So you want to be mindful of what's existing within you so that it can reflect to the outside, because that's how you magnetize the life you desire. It's part of the law of attraction. It's part of manifestation. It's part of bringing things into fruition that you have been praying for. So you want to be careful with being in that negative mindset about what you're seeing, the weather, but also metaphorically, the weather is saying also being mindful of allowing what you observe outside of you, any circumstances of maybe the community you live in, a friend or family member. This could be anything going on in the world outside of you, allowing these things to affect you so much so to where you're in the energy of sadness, depression, or conflict, or you just don't feel upbeat or happy. Okay. And I'm talking about, the kind of energy where you just don't, you're like, not today. I don't know what it is, but just not today kind of energy. Just be mindful of how you speak over yourself, okay? And don't allow what you see outside of you. Don't always confirm that you're being punished, as well as what you're seeing outside of you, as well as what you are experiencing. Don't always assume you are being punished. We are all multidimensional beings. There are many levels to us. We're very in depth. And the more you get to know yourself and work on self awareness, this is something that you will come into the knowing of. And just like you have a divine purpose and you have emotions and feelings and things you go through, everyone in the world is going through their own pot of gumbo, collective. So don't internalize your experiences as a negative. That will keep you out of the conflict with others and with yourself, okay? Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually speaking. So be mindful of that. This is a good time to gather with those of like minded energy, or gather with thyself, and figure out, things to like I said, be innovative. I picked up someone's feeling bored, or they feel like there's nothing to do, or things are stagnant because it's the winter. Well, it's time to think outside the box. It's time to do something, different, okay? Because we know if you always do what you've always done, you'll get what you always have gotten. So, yeah, okay. And so next we have the Five of Swords here. This is conflict again. So we have conflict out here twice with the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords. So there is a communication being given twice times two, okay? To be mindful of conflict with yourself and others. Do not allow, once again, what you hear and what you see that is going on the television, social media, conversations, discussions about politics. To each his own. People have free will to speak and have their own opinion. But if it's not a fruitful conversation, Spirit is saying it's better for you to just not engage. If it's not a fruitful situation, it's better for you to retreat and go in another direction, okay? So we have the Queen of Pentacles because you're someone who is very focused in working on material wealth, being comfortable, and you want to stay as your true, authentic self. This could also be something you're working on. You could be someone who's working on confidence, who's working on stepping into their purpose, and you could be doing a lot of experiencing a lot of changes and moving forward in life. Real talk, those who know what I'm about to say. Whenever you're working on progress, the old you knows that you're making a change, okay? And it's like I call it the old you knows, I call it residue collector, knows that you're changing. And it's like an energy that tries to pull on you to get you to go in a different direction, to get you to go in the energy of sabotage. Now, life is not perfect. You may have some situations or circumstances you may have to handle. Handle your business. Speak up for yourself. Protect yourself. Defend yourself. But there's a way to go about things appropriately where you won't allow people to get you out of frame or get you off of track, okay? Because hurt people hurt people. So unhappy people want you to be unhappy too. Insecure people want you to be insecure too. So as I hold these two cards, they're very distinctively different in energy, the picture, and everything. So I'm speaking to someone who is doing a lot of work on self-awareness as well as progressing in life with your confidence, your finances, working on your future. You could be making plans. You could be purchasing a home. You may be changing your career, finishing school. A lot of positive things are happening for you. Spirit is saying, collective, be mindful. Do not let this energy of the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands creep into your life. And if they can't come through your spouse or your children because you've tackled that area of how to remedy that, it may come through a neighbor. If it can't come through your neighbor, it may come through a coworker. If it can't come through a coworker, it may come through something you're strolling on social media and maybe it triggers you and make you feel some kind of way. Spirit is saying for you to be strong, stand in your power, and protect yourself and defend yourself, but you're not going to defend yourself the way the old you used to handle business. You're going to handle things the correct way. We're not going to create situations that'll lead us to catching a case, paying restitution, or being in a situation that we can't turn back from. Hurt people hurt people. A miserable person wants you miserable also. If you're smiling and they're frowning, well, their agenda is to make you frown, okay? So those are examples of in the message for you two, because you're all working on something different. We are different people. We're supposed to be respectfully so, but do not allow, because it will pop up. And it's just like I call it the residue. Okay, I have a lot of language I make up on this channel. I laugh on this channel. I have fun on this channel. This is what we do. Okay, we encourage, we inspire, we uplift. There's nothing more going on. Okay, but fun on this channel. But it's the old residue not liking your glow up, not liking that they see that this star player is coming out, which is you standing in your authenticity. This is you standing in your purpose. Maybe you stop smoking, stop drinking, you're losing weight, your money looking good. You've got new love in your life. You're a wonderful parent. Your children are successful. And so that energy will try to pull on you. So it's very important, to always, in my opinion, to rely more on the spiritual than the physical, and to always work on self awareness. Know what kind of energy you're tapping into, know what kind of energy, if you're astral traveling, that you're communicating with. Okay, because it can pop up in the dream state. This energy here of conflict can pop up while you're astral traveling. But you have to know, is this a spirit guide showing me something? Or is this another dark entity trying to attach itself and make me feel discouraged, or make me feel hostile, or make you feel like you don't belong where you think you want to go, or you're not worthy of the progress in your life. So there's a need to slow down. Don't be so reactive. Don't allow things to overwhelm you, collective, because that's the old residue that sees you. They see that you're progressing, okay? They see that you're making moves, you're looking good, you're smelling good, your money's good, you're minding your business, you're maintaining. And that could bother people too. That could trigger, those haters, naysayers, people of the past that you don't deal with. You have lost communication with, they have no access to you, family or friends, and also people that don't know you. People that don't know you, if they recognize that you are a peaceful person, or that you are just simply content, they find that, wow, collective always minding their business. I don't like that because I don't know how to mind my business. Let me see, can I ruffle some feathers? And this could be people who don't even know you. And some of you watching may be shaking your head like, you know what? I have experienced like some total strangers. Just, it's all energy. Everything around us is energy. And it sounds odd, but it's true. People become upset, and because they're in discontent and you are content. They're not at peace and you are at peace. And they don't have to know you personally. It sounds childish, but it happens. Many people have energy attachments on them. Some of them are aware. You have some who focus on being a chaos being, and that's how they live their life. To each his own, because there's magic in that too. If you know, you know. And then you have some who don't know that they have this dark energy attached to them that's causing them to be in conflict with everyone they meet. Every time you hear about them, they're in some kind of trouble. Every time you talk to them, they're complaining. Every time you see them, this is the person that is always irate. This could be someone in your family, a friend, someone you know in your community. They're always irate, and turned up. They're never at peace. It's like their spirit doesn't know what peace is. It's foreign to them, So be mindful. Do not let the old residue pull on you and make you feel like you don't belong and you're not worthy of the progress you have been working on, or make you feel like you have to stoop down to their level. There's no need for you to be in conflict with yourself, because truly, with the star card here and the Queen of Pentacles here, male or female, you're working on progress. This is success. This is material wealth and comfort in someone down to earth. So that means you're confident in who you are. There is no reason for you to be in conflict. That is, the old you may have been in conflict, but you have done the work. You're not holding any resentment. You're not holding any malice. You're not even speaking on those who don't have access to you. You don't even have conversations about them nor gossip about them. Okay, so don't allow anyone to pull you out of your energy. Once again, you can speak up for yourself if you have to. You can protect yourself, but there's smarter ways to do it. Spirit is saying work smarter, not harder. You don't have to lower your vibration. There are many ways that you can protect yourself and receive the justice. If someone is disrespecting you, harassing you, causing you harm, you feel like they're disturbing your peace or they're trying to intercept. There are many ways to handle situations like that. Okay, so yeah, be mindful of old energy pulling on you, or if it is cold where you are, and maybe you are indoors more with your family, you're more lax. There's nothing wrong with that. Drinking your hot cocoa, your coffee, your tea. Don't allow boredom or, an idle mind to put you in the workshop of corruption, the Five of Wands or Five of Swords, or to put you in, oh, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm about to go surf the net and see can I find my ex. Oh, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm about, don't allow yourself to get entangled in the hoopla. Spirit is saying, okay? Because people are having tower moments, but you do not have to create one on your own. You do not have to self-inflict a tower moment to yourself. Everyone has their own life. Everyone has their own mission, that they are on. And allow people to live their life, but stay out of the way. Stay out of the way and out of the crossfires. Do not engage with anyone who is carrying this Five of Wands and Five of Swords. Those are two cards that represent conflict energy and also ambition. Someone who is indecisive about who they are. They don't know who they are. They don't know what direction they are going in. They're only interested in keeping up chaos. It's nothing to fear, but just don't go near it. Don't engage with it. Okay. And so we have the Page of Wands. Keep your enthusiasm about life. It's okay to relax. It's okay to have a day off. It's okay to take a break, but keep your enthusiasm. Stay inspired or motivated on anything that you're working on, anything you're building or creating. Keep that same energy. Keep that momentum going. Don't become too lax where you forget about it and say, oh, you know what? It's been so long. I'm just going to leave it alone. No, the goal is to keep going. Okay. The goal is to keep going. Okay. Don't allow this Capricorn energy to intercept. Don't allow, okay? So this is nothing to fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. We know that no weapon formed against us will ever prosper. We understand that we are in full control. We do have a say-so in the life that we experience. And how we have a say-so is making the choice, as I mentioned earlier. Realizing, recognizing we have a choice each and every day and making that choice. The choice to remain grateful, the choice to take who I am, where I am, and make something good of it. Doesn't matter who you are, okay? Yeah, giving yourself the justice. The best thing that any of us and all of us could do for ourselves is give ourselves justice. Give yourself a fair chance out of all the things we will experience and endure. No matter how many losses you have had, no matter how many down points I would say you feel have impacted you, if you're still here, you still have breath. That means you still have opportunity, space and opportunity. Give yourself justice. Live the life you desire. Work on that thing that you're so crazy about, or that hobby or that passion project. Go work on that. Do some decluttering. People do spring cleaning. The New Year's is approaching. Do some decluttering, some dusting around your home, your car, your office, your bedroom, your closet, your junk drawer. This is a wonderful time to throw out things, declutter, dust, clean, sanitize. Smudge your home if you need to. Read some scriptures if you need to. That's a good thing to do every day. To get into your word. Create some affirmations. Show your children some affirmations. It can be one or two simple lines, and let the momentum build within your home, within your family, and watch the results from that. Okay, that's for somebody. Okay. That's for somebody. It isn't cheesy. It isn't weird. It's a wise thing to do. If you're interested in, your children creating some kind of affirmations, some positive reinforcement, yeah, you should do that, especially if you have small ones, and let it continue as they move forward and grow on their path. That's for someone who needs to hear that, okay? Because you are someone who has leadership qualities. And when you have these leadership qualities and abilities, people outside of you and around you recognize it and they see it. No, they will not speak on it. And sometimes they will not compliment you on it. But people see it and they recognize it. So this is where you get what I was mentioning earlier. You get those events or situations where people are acting weird towards you, and you're like, well, I don't even know that person. Why did that happen? Or you say, I didn't even say nothing. Why did that happen? It's your energy, it's your aura. You don't have to say anything. Your mirror, your pure existence, because you exist, collective. Your leadership is failed. Your star quality is shining and shining bright. Okay. It's shining bright. This energy is here and present for a reason. This star right here, this is what they see. And you may say, well, I didn't do nothing. I just put on a sweatsuit and some jogger pants and a t-shirt and went into the store. Doesn't matter. This is what they see. They see you sparkling. See those little stars? They see you sparkling. They see it in the oracle of their eyes. If they go to the eye doctor and the eye doctor look into their eyes and say, oh, you've seen a star today. Oh, I see you've seen some stars today. This is what people see. So Spirit is saying, stay confident no matter what you experience. We all go through different things. We have sad moments. We have good moments. We have ones that makes us uncomfortable. But this too will pass. Trouble doesn't last always. That is a fact. We're constantly in the energy of change. We're constantly in the energy of evolution. Nothing stays the same. So you can count on that. So this is what they see. They see the star in you shining. They see it. They see it, collective. That's why you have those weird experiences with total strangers. And the sparkling of the stars that they see, leadership, you know, material wealth, abundance. They see this. They see this. You know how to gather. You know how to collaborate. You know how to build. You're innovative. You're confident. You know how to stay away from conflict. Okay. In those stars, they see someone who's very enthusiastic. That means you're motivated. And people see this about you. You're very motivated. It could be also in your language when you talk. People could see that you're very encouraged. And when people hear or see encouragement, they'll smile, but not all is happy for you. The first thing they'll say as you turn your back is, that's a star right there. They're going to make it. They feel it. They may not say it out loud. They feel it. That person's going to be successful. They're very positive. They're upbeat, and that person is going to make it. People see it. People see it. No matter what I try to do to them, no matter what I try to put in their way, that person is going to make it. Damn right. It's written in the stars. It is what it is. No one can take your power away from you. They may try to disturb you for a moment, but that's temporarily and it doesn't work. What is for you will not pass you by. It will not. And the fun fact is, when anytime a hater, a naysayer, or whomever try to derail you, you don't have to do a thing. You don't have to respond because what they put out will come back. And it doesn't have to be from you. A person could be trying to intimidate you, harass you, anything, spread a rumor about you, and they could be maybe job hunting, and they wondering why every door getting slammed in their face. No, I'm not gonna hire you, and what it is, they're going through a suffering because the energy that they are projecting onto the collective, they want the collective to suffer. So in return, what they put out comes back to them. Or it may not come to them. It may come to someone in their family. You never know when or how the Karma Cafe is going to give you a serving. So it's law. It is what it is. It's not about what you don't believe in. Everything you put out comes back. Your negative thoughts and actions towards people comes back. If you're insecure, work on that. You can't be mad at a person because they're secure within themselves and they chose to love themselves enough to not allow circumstances of their past to hinder them. You cannot be mad because a person don't think like you. You cannot be mad because a person doesn't look like you or dress like you. You cannot be mad because a person doesn't want to deal with you or socialize with you. Now, all those things I named, if you choose to project negative energy or be cruel towards someone because they have chosen themselves, it will return to you. So that's the fun fact. You don't have to lift a hair. You don't have to respond. And often when people do cruel things to people, real talk, collective, these are the same people, the it starters, who will sit up and say, I don't know why this is happening to me. The troublemakers, the toxic people, the insecure ones, the low vibrational ones, These are the same people who will sit up and say, I don't know why this happened. I don't know. What have you been up to? They cannot stop the sun from shining. The sun is going to shine again and again and again and again. The sun and the moon will be here. As people transition and pass on, loved ones, family, friends, guess what? The sun will still be here. The moon will be here. Mother Earth, Mother Gaia will be here as folks transition, even. Okay? They cannot stop the sun from shining. And I'm saying all that to say the sun is a very positive card. This is increased vitality, new love, new happiness. This is abundance. This is prosperity. This is also confirmation that you are on the right path, collective. This is confirmation to not allow anyone to pull you into this Five of Swords or Five of Wands energy. Okay? And people will try nonstop because they want to get you upset. I'm picking up an energy of someone who wants to get you upset, and maybe you've been ignoring them. Continue to ignore them. Starve them of your energy. I'm also picking up on someone who's gossiping about you, and they're waiting for you to gossip with somebody about them, and it's not happening. Don't gossip about nobody. Starve them of your energy. They're waiting for you to mention their name. They're waiting for you to talk about them. And it's not happening. It's just not happening. Okay? Yeah. They want to battle. There's nothing for them to battle but themselves. There's no one for them to fight but fight with themselves on going through a healing process. It's time for them to take action in their own lives. And that is something that one has to come into understanding, on their own, in their own timing. Meanwhile, you're moving on to calmer waters. You are going where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Okay. And you're able to identify who is for you and who is not for you. And so this person may be upset because they don't have access to you. It's because you're not interested. But the silly thing is, people actually get mad if they don't have access to you. It's because they want to be nosy and they're up to no good. Because there is no way that I would want to be where I'm not wanted. Like, seriously. And that is a diabolical, very dark, something's wrong with you kind of energy. You should never want to force yourself on anyone. And to be angry because someone doesn't want to deal with you, hang with you, kick it with you is just quite nuts. There's a lot of things we can give our time and our attention to. We can go outside, pick up litter, trash, clean the world up, clean up Mother Earth. Seriously, there's a lot of things we can do. We can do our decluttering, our dusting, organize a bookshelf, go to the library, read a book, file, clip your fingernails, clip your toenails, clean up under your nails. Just because you go to the nail shop doesn't mean you don't have to clean under them. That's part of the message, okay? So I'm saying, and just because you go to the nail shop doesn't mean you don't have to get a nail file and clean the dirt and debris from up under them. Okay, so yeah, that's part of the message. Don't be mad. Come on, let's get over our anger in 1, 2, 3. There it is. All right, we don't get mad about that, okay? Yeah, but yeah, pay these haters no attention. So that's part of the message about the fingernails. Now, spirit could be conveying that to save someone from maybe picking up some kind of germs or bacteria or virus, okay? So that's why when the message comes through, I deliver it. So it's all about your perception. If you're wearing fingernails and you feel that I went to the shop, I don't have to clean up under my fingernails or toenails because I got them done at the shop, that's not true, okay? So that message came through for me to say that because, once again, your spirit team could be trying to save you from something. That doesn't mean that you're nasty. That means to consider getting a nail file and cleaning up under them, even if you have an overlay or a tip, okay? All right, get up and clean up under, like up under the mantle, okay? The mantle, the tip, okay? So that could be a message to save someone from getting sick, from catching something, okay? No, I'm not a licensed medical professional, but that is a spiritual message from your spirit team. Just came in and they want me to say it. So if somebody's watching or somebody's going to see it who maybe wear tips or nails and needs to know that, just clean up under them on a regular. Not every day, but as you feel the need to. We know you wash your hands, but there are some things that may need a tool, something pointy, just to clean the debris up under them. And I'm picking up that's probably possibly to save you from catching something. Okay, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, the transformation. The transformation. We have a death card. Do not allow anyone to intercept your transformation. The beautiful things that you are working on, collective. Okay. And trust and know, duality exists in all things and everything is all energy. No matter who you are, and any successful person or anyone who you feel is successful in your opinion, because we all look at success in different ways, okay? We look at happiness in different ways. We'll tell you there will always be, no matter what height or peak you are at in your career, in your life, you'll find another peak you want to reach and another one. There will always be someone or something wanting to pull on your energy, wanting to pull you backwards, wanting to distract you. So don't allow that. It's in the upright. This is Scorpio energy. So that means a transformation is happening. That means you are allowing it. Do not allow them to flip it upside down. So you do that by constantly not engaging or giving your attention and time to those who are not, of like-minded energy. When you have nothing in common with someone, there's no need to even verbalize it. Just simply do you. Simply do you, and, reside and retreat to your throne. You've earned the right of passage to be here, male or female, gender is fluid in tarot. You've earned the right to be here in this position. Lots of sacrifices made, lots of, time put in as well. I'm picking up a lot of things you have endured by yourself alone. Okay. Maybe crying to yourself late at night, a lot of prayer, a lot of, being in different relationships that weren't fair, that were imbalanced, But now, justice is here for you. Justice is here to bring everything back into balance and put everything back into its rightful place. Spirit is saying, let it be. Let it be. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so now you are, because you have chosen to utilize your strength, you could have Leo placement somewhere in your chart, or either the hater could. You now have strength, to, you have an additional gift. You've learned how to socialize or collaborate and exist amongst the most fierce, those who are considered to be feared or daring. You're someone who has learned and picked up an additional skill and a gift where you're able to run, with the toughest or the roughest and still receive your respect, they're saying. Okay. The kind of people, as you see this lion here roaring, the kind of people I would say like on your job. Okay. Let's go to your job, management, CEO, the administrator, the founder, the person that signs the check. Okay. Every job, there is a manager, a supervisor, or someone who the employees either feel intimidated by, or they just don't try this person, meaning they respect this person. Meaning when they're in the building, everybody's going to fulfill their job description. Like, what I'm saying? If your job was wiping tables, you're going to keep that rag in motion. If your job is doing inventory, you're going to keep on counting. I'm just using these things as examples, okay? So you are someone who has acquired, I'm trying to explain this, and this is pretty cool. You should be proud of yourself. You are so much in your power, collective, and you have done so much wonderful work when it comes to your confidence, your stability. Look how comfortable she is leaning on that lion's back, not afraid, ready to run with those who are considered to be feared or fierce. You have become fearless yourself. You have become fearless. Very brave. Your nature, and it's not arrogant, but you're very brave, and you're sturdy. You're 10 toes down. It's not one toe up. You're like, no, all of them down. We here. This who I am. What you see is what you get. You're not someone to tremble. You know. Reminds me of that scene on Love and Hip Hop when Jocelyn and K. Michelle was arguing. It's an old episode, and she was like, "Oh, she's shaking the table. Like, what? I'm supposed to be scared now?" That kind of energy. So I'm not calling you a troublemaker, but you're not easily intimidated. You're not easy to be shooken up. You're wise enough, and you're so much in your power. You've learned to stand still and let me see what this is. There's no need to panic. Let me see what this is. Be still. Be still now. Okay. Very spiritually inclined and in tune, I'm picking up. I mean, look, I gotta show it to you again. Look, she like, yeah, what we gonna do today, Lion? Yeah, I'm chilling. You chilling? What we gonna do? Look, she's resting on him. This is like a friend. She like, yeah, we gonna chill over here. We might go for a walk later though. You seen the monkeys? I ain't seen the monkeys. ah, she may even know how to communicate with this lion, and everybody else don't know how to communicate. That kind of energy, you see the boss that everybody's scared of, and you're like, hey, how you doing? You mingling with them, and not because you're kissing their behind or you're brown nosing anything. No, you're treating them like you treat everybody else, with respect, with mutual respect. Like, why should I run and hide because the boss in the building? No, they're a boss and I'm the boss of me too. How about that? Yes, I was hired to do a job. The only thing I have to do is do what I do every day. My job description. There's no need to get anxious or nervous. Wow. And that happens on a lot of jobs. It doesn't matter whether you're corporate, whether you work in customer service, whether you work in food service. Whenever the boss is in the building, there's always a group like, they here. All right, y'all be on y'all P's and Q's. You like, shit, I'm going on a smoke break. And you don't get in trouble for it. It's not a problem. As a matter of fact, once again, you're respected for it. You're respected for your confidence. The shivering and the quivering that others may have, which is usually the haters. Those are insecure people. Those are people they're really weak. Those who bark really don't bite. The loudest person in the room is always the weakest person in the room. It's the quiet people you really need to be mindful of. But you're respected for that. And people could look at you like, dang, ain't time administrator here. The collective up there keying with them. And I seen them talking about going to have lunch together. Nothing funny, just business. Gosh, but when I see the administrator, I run. You got people scratching their head about you, yo. You got people trying to figure you out. You're not easily shaken. That's what it is. And they are. And though they are troublemakers and, they like chaos and toxicity, these are really weak individuals. The only people who choose to give their precious time and energy, their currency in life to other people by causing trouble or just being a problem, these are people who don't know who they are. And because they don't know who they are, they have time on their hands. That's how they feel. Time is not precious to them. Life is not precious to them. They feel they have nothing to live for. This is how they feel about themselves. So they'll spend their time on planet Earth on a hamster wheel, moving fast and going nowhere. But they will continue to watch other people have options and then what? Get mad about it. Get mad about it. How is it that the collective have all them options? Yeah, I heard it was off their promotion. They even talking about giving them a desk and they might apply for that management position. Did you see the new car they got out there in the parking lot? I think they got two cars. Last week they drove a different car. They're constantly wondering, why is it that the collective have options? Because the collective is not misappropriating their currency, their time here on planet Earth. They're putting it towards themselves. They're working on progress. They're working on healing. They're not holding resentment or iniquity. They're not wishing harm on anyone. And the more that they progress and work on themselves and mind the business that pay them, every time you show up, people see that you are a star. Even on days you may not feel your best, like I said, oh, I just doing t-shirts and sweats and went to the store, my hair all over my head. Guess what? They still see the star in you. So you can't dim your light because it's natural. It's your innate abilities. It's natural. It's within you. It's within you. And I'm picking up for some of you, you have tried to dim your light, not out of fear, but just maybe out of, I'm just going to chill today. I'll use this as an example. I'll use aesthetics as an example. Maybe you're someone who you like dressing down. And when I say dress down, you like to be comfortable. Like I was talking about the sweats. You're like, oh, I'll just wear some pants and a t-shirt. No, I'm not putting on no makeup. I'm not combing my hair. You can stand on my head. I don't care. I took a shower. I'm good. I took a shower. I'm good. And it's okay to be in that kind of energy. And then out of nowhere, you all of a sudden change your wardrobe. You all of a sudden, you're doing skin regimens, and you're taking care of your crown, and and you're showing up differently. And then people are like, I didn't know the collective could do that. And then there comes a fixation. People become, people will become, they will gain a fixation towards you. And from the fixation, first it turns out it's admiration. They'll tell you it's pretty, it's nice. Admiration turns into the fixation. And then the fixation turns right into what? Envy and jealousy. And that's when the toxicity will come in. So I'm picking up for some of you, maybe you are someone who shows up sometime very relaxed, plain Jane, male or female. And then, 2 or 3 days later, you put that thing on every day, and it's like magic to folks. They're like, wow. They're like, wow. They can't believe what they are seeing, and, they want to come in fighting, but, they're fighting with the wrong person. They're fighting actually with themselves. And when they target you, they're targeting God. When they're trying to intercept your actions, they're intercepting the plans and actions that God has for you. So that's the fun fact about a hater. Okay? But it's leaving them confused because what they thought you couldn't do, you've been doing it all the time. And so that wheel is well oiled. It keeps turning for you. It keeps turning for you over and over. There's always something interesting, I'm also picking up, you could be someone, if you're in a group setting, people may overtalk you. That's because these are people who are not on your level anyway. For whatever reason, this could be at work, this could be at any kind of group setting, family, friends, community. That's done on purpose. They know that you're going to have something bright to say. You're the star. I got to hold it up again. They know that you're going to have something wonderful to say. They know that you're going to have something bright to say. So why will we let the star? Why will we let the star talk? Why? Because all you're going to do is shine. This is all you're doing. And I'm telling you, you could be like, oh, I just rolled out the bed. Oh, I just took a shower, threw some clothes on, ran out the door. Doesn't matter. You're still sparkling. You're sparkling everywhere you go. You're shining everywhere you go and without doing anything. Okay. And when I say shine, we're not talking about, oh, I'm about to put this chain on. No, 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 no. No matter what you do, you're shining. You stand out. It's the way you communicate, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress, the way you talk, even when you don't dress. It's everything about you. And that is a gift that you have. That is one of your gifts because we are born with several of them. But it's up to you to tap into those abilities. But for those who are watching this, you have that natural star quality and ability. And that's why you have the experiences that you have when you meet people. You're shining. I told you if they go to the eye doctor, the obstetrician will say, oh, you saw some stars today, huh? You've been looking at a star? Ah, real talk. You always have something new to share. You always have something innovative to share. And I'm not talking about someone just making up some ish. I'm talking about what you speak on and talk about is true, is fact. If they Google it, they'll find out it's true. If they ask somebody, they'll find it's true and it makes sense. And there's an intimidation, when someone is highly intelligent. But these are your abilities. Don't ever change who you are. I don't want you to see this and say, oh, let me stop sharing my ideas. No, keep being you. And if someone can't take it, it's too bad. Maybe they need to read a book. And that might sound cruel, but guess what? So what? Moving on. You better keep shining. Don't ever change who you are. If you feel that you are in an environment that makes you feel that way, that means those ain't your people. Them ain't your people. Them ain't your people. But don't change who you are, okay? What's that song? You shouldn't have to change. The world should change for you. I don't know the artist, but I know that's the lyrics. One of the lyrics. You shouldn't have to change. The world should be changing for you. Don't change who you are. Don't stop being you. These are your gifts. These are your abilities. It ain't your fault. It's evidently, look, everything is where it needs to be according to actions that have been taken previously, currently, or futuristically. Everything is happening right now at the same time anyway. It may be your lineage, your ancestors that set you up. It ain't your fault. What you supposed to do? Oh, my ancestors looked out for me. I ain't gonna take that abundance they left me. Who? Said who? You ain't gonna do what? Come on, buddy. Oh, my ancestors set it up where I got options. I don't want it now. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we did, and we can, and we will. And so those opportunities, the wheel of fortune here, these are opportunities arriving in different areas, even for your offspring, your children, even for your love relationships, your career, business ideas, projects, and your health and well being. It's not your fault. And it's not a problem. They're the problem, okay? Because you keep shining everywhere you go. That's what it is. You keep shining everywhere you go. So do not retreat. Do not retreat. Shingil, Angel of Snow, says, do not retreat your joy or your happiness. Do not allow it to, dissolve or dissipate. Do not retreat the things you are working on. The things that make you happy. Make sure you're only intermingling with nothing less than the best for yourself. If it's not fruitful, then it really does not deserve your attention. Later.